Okay, let's begin. Good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me formally welcome you to this media interview program, Politics Hour, platform where politics meets the people. I'm your host, Kevin Jacob, and on this show, we'll be engaging with Nigeria's political leaders, delving into their vision, their policies, and plans for the country, from governance to economy to social welfare. We're exploring the issues that shape our nation. So we have an expected aspirant who will share insights and
Thank you very much.
Dr. B. Emmanuel. Dr. B. Emmanuel is a medical practitioner, and he's contesting for the position of House of Reps in let me get that right. He's contesting for the position of House of Reps in Eza North Ishielu Federal Constituency in Ebonyi State. Dr. B. Emmanuel Ifeanyi, you are welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
All right. Let's go straight to talk about you. Most people will be with you for the first time. Sorry, there's this background I'm getting from your side. I don't know whether it can be tuned down. Okay.
All right, sir. The noise is under control.
Okay, so can you share a brief background about yourself, including your education and what inspired you to go into politics right now?
Okay, thank you very much, the listeners. Just going to introduction, I'm Dr. B. Emmanuel. I'm a medical doctor, a member of the West African College of Physicians, a pharmacologist also. So I have been in the system in leadership positions for years, right from my time as a student, and even among colleagues, doctors, and those positions, executive positions and committee positions. And during my time as a student, I've seen problems in my local government, in my constituency. And I have seen how government of the days actually handle the problems. And I think there is need, not only that, we have seen that the politicians of this generation continuously have been recycled. It's either you see them here or you see them there. The people will tell you they want to change the situation, and before from the other party, you will see them in the other party. They will come like angels and repeat what the devil did some time ago. And I think the opportunity this coalition has given unto us will help us to instill fresh blood and bring in technocrats into the system. And I am convinced that I am one of the technocrats. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, let's go into let's go into why exactly do you want to represent your constituency in the House of Representatives?
All right, for a long time, there are some people that have actually seen some of us as minorities. It's not actually minority based on where we are coming from, but minorities because we do not have say or have a say in governance. And because, from the onset of the political dispensation, the group of people that started, for instance, in 1999, has remained there and are seen as the majority, irrespective of the academic background or that things, the mental status. They have always seen those that are not there as the people that do not know what they are doing. And each time you want to make a say, they will not listen to you because you do not have, as I'm talking to you, I mean the financial muscle. So, but with an opportunity like this, there are lots of misgovernance. There are lots of issues in the system. The people are suffering. For instance, as a health worker, I think you watch the situation in the health sector. As I'm talking to you, in my constituency, we have about 0.7 10,000 people as of 2022 in both local governments. About 227,000 population, and it has about 217,000. And imagine that type of population has 2.7 primary health centers, 10,000 patients. You will see what they are passing through. People in that frequency, you will see that we have issues. They're not handling it. Nobody is doing anything. If you go online, you will see the political problems, in the country. Every day, people that think criminals, there will be death killings. But in this 2025, there is lots of people dying in initially local government area because of suspected herdsmen. Even in 2021, and that's doing, our leaders will there and pray and shed tears and go back to their seat. But there are things the leader is supposed to do. Most times they know that I am it's not really but there are some political solutions political solutions are not being brought into the system. They will go because they do not have the self-mindedness. And I think they are doing that because they believe that they will continue to be there, that if they say anything to what our leaders want to hear, they can be made to leave the system, which of course they don't have any other thing doing. So where they go, is it a road network? In fact, I'll tell you that the constituency is, in fact, seems to be the worst in terms of road network. I am not going to the road myself, but I have a relationship with powers that be. There are some, this is not all about coming out to shout or make noise or to win, but it's all about the wisdom needed to interact with others. It's a system of interconnectedness. If you don't have it, you just go there, you sit down and sleep and collect your money and go. So I think with all this and more, I felt there is need for fresh blood to be instilled into the system. And I want to assure you that when you see fresh blood instilled into the system, definitely you will see that.
All right, I completely agree with you. Like from what we just seen yesterday, our rubber stamp National Assembly has even approved a state of emergency. We expected them to oppose. Anyway, we really need a new crop of leaders. Yeah. So let's talk about your values and your principles. What values and principles do you stand for as a politician and also as a corporate member that will make you stand out for this role?
Thank you very much. In the case, when you talk about principles in a time like this, you will be seeing where I am coming from. Because if you see me standing in the of one, maybe example, I don't, if you see me there, you will see that I have a notorious principle. There is a political party where you see that I have a gentle see me in the midst of this coalition. I have a principle that will it's not about to say about what happened in the National Assembly. At the point we were analyzing that, imagine a particular political party have deep interest that do not have the unfortunately we discovered that of course there were alliances, or maybe alliances may not be there, because I actually saw voice votes. And what anything can happen. So I strongly believe in principle. I have the principle that no one coerce me. I cannot be coerced. I cannot be brought to I strongly believe. And if we have many others that have such standing people, you know what you're looking for. It's just like when I wanted to buy my car, somebody told me if I go to, I must have the type of car I need to buy. If I don't have it in mind, if I don't use. Of course, when I planned it very well. Origin there, I saw what I said. So if you want to go, you have to be sure what you're looking for. If not, when you go there, they push you the other way, you fall, they push you to the left, you fall there, you become a loser. And one thing I want to show you is that the constituents, they don't forget. Internet don't forget. You can pick your place and go, come back, and they have the power to recall you. Not only that, they can even throw stones at you when they see you. I've seen people do that. So I stand in the principle of truth. I stand in the principle of fairness. I stand in the principle of fair and good representation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. You're a medical doctor, and I know you're in the health room. Like you said, you also into other aspects of life. I want you to be more specific this time. How has your past leadership experience prepared you for this role about to aspire for?
All right. Thank you very much. As a very young man in university, I was provost of our local government student association. And of course, I did my job very well. And there was strong cohesion. There was strong cohesion among the students. And also on graduation, I became interim even when there was I was able to put the house in a united mode and we'll be able to sell through. So as I stand now, I am a stakeholder in my place of work, and people consult once they need a political solution to issues, they consult me. And I am convinced each time my past will say, yes, here is the man that will help us put this through. So I have, even the grace of God, I am also a pastor, a senior pastor, and each time I come to the church, I know how it is not easy to control people, but I have always done that. I have never created, allowed the problem to slip out of my hand without solving it. To the best of my knowledge and to the knowledge of people around me, I know I have what it is to lead. I have some situations, no matter how sour they may be. And I am convinced that when I move, people will definitely follow. As I move followers, of course, it means something in the work. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. There will be other candidates for this position that will vie for this position, especially as you move towards the primaries in the coming months. Other candidates for this position in your parties and in other parties. Now, what differentiates you from these other candidates contesting for this position that you think will make you actually stand out and even clinch the ticket?
All right. Thank you very much. In most times in our political system, most of the people that have always occupied there are people we know. I don't want to use any derogatory word against anybody, but we know where they're coming from. We know where they were picked. We know sometimes it will like a payback time. And when it comes to qualification, it cannot, if you go online, Google, search for people that are representing this constituency, it's just like a reward system. For this time around, it's not a reward system because we have facts, we have figures, and we have visions, and we have missions. And not only that, I am somebody of the grassroots, and I am convinced that my alliance with my people, my interconnectedness with my own people would be an advantage. Not only that, my qualification, my antecedents, my credentials, I will not say, I wouldn't have said it is intimidating, but being compared with those that have been there, then I will tell you it's intimidating. Because I know some people that were there, right there, went to school, got university degrees, right there in the assembly. So about me, by the grace of God, I've gone far. I have MSc, I'm a doctor, and also a member of the West African College of Physicians. I know I have what it takes. In terms of comparison, it's just like comparing water, coffee, and tea. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Let's come down to understanding your constituency needs. Let's look at your constituency. We feel for candidates who are running for office like this, there must be something their constituency that really driven them, cause that passion in them to provide for that for this seat. What are the biggest challenges facing your constituency, in Eza North Ishelu constituency, and how do you plan to address them?
All right, in the first place, one of the problems we're having in my constituency, the first is health-related problems. You know, when I started, I told you that about 0.7 primary healthcare centers in 10,000. And anybody can go and verify it. That's 22. That is what we have. Imagine a population of 227,000 having 0.7 primary health centers in a 10,000 population. You know, people can walk, many people die because of poor accessibility to hospitals. You know, we have lots of cases like psychiatrisis, schistosomiasis, and other problems in that constituency, and anybody can go and verify it. And the government is rehabilitating, is not even considering the number of primary health centers or trying to rehabilitate, which has failed in several locations. Then manpower is also a problem. Recently, they are looking for volunteers that will work, and conditions were given to the volunteers. How many people are volunteering? And even if you volunteer, because you know it's not a permanent job, you can do that with, like I said, equal attitudes. So health is one of the problems. Insecurity, which I said earlier, is a major problem. For many years, even people that are not from Ebonyi State will know about Ezulo, Eza. That place is actually in Ishelu local government area. People that are going from Enugu, from different parts of the country, going to Abakaliki or going to Cameroon in Trans-Saharan Highway, people, their lives will be cut short. And successive governments have done nothing. When they have the power, I am convinced that somebody, a good representative will be able to represent them well. It is not one person may not solve the problem, but the ability to interact with others and tell them this problem is not peculiar, it's not for one person. That road is the Trans-Saharan road going from Nigeria to Cameroon, and people are dying every day. So not only that, then we also have problem of agriculture. Yes, the lands in both Eza North and Ishelu is really blessed, but the problem is how can you take your farm products to the market? There is no road. In rainy seasons, people don't drive their cars in some parts of those local governments. They they carry their farm produce on their heads and move from one place to the other. Of course, you know, it is a very big problem. There's no roads. In fact, sometimes even vehicles, commercial vehicles that want to use the road, may stop on the road, push the vehicle just to get to the other point of a spoiled road. We have problem of the roads. Yes, it is very good for somebody to know, to have interest, to have, interest that this is actually to be recognized that this is a problem. We have had many representatives from the party so them. And some of these roads are federal roads, like the one that moved from Enugu, passes through Ishelu to Hoza, and to other parts. That road is not motorized. I'm talking to you. The moment rain drops on the ground, that federal road, no, I am convinced that if I have opportunity to speak for that constituent, I will be able to make sure that road becomes something that is notable. Then lots of and I believe if the opportunity comes, the God I serve will always direct me, and with my little wisdom, writing will definitely be done. Thank you very much.
All right. So we talked about health, basically health, manpower, security, the roads, security issues seem to be a recurring problem. But let's go further. There are people in your constituency who must have one or two things they want to see, want the government to do. How will you, as a representative, ensure that the voices and concerns of your constituents are represented in the National Assembly? How are you going to keep in touch and make sure that whatever they have is represented and voiced out in the National Assembly?
Okay, that is what I mean by being vocal. There are people who are afraid to talk in public. We have had people that represented us in several times ago, and we have never seen them talking on the seat of the National Assembly. They'll sit down. When it's time to share whatever good news or bad news, they'll share with it and go back to their homes. But I have been vocal in many occasions. I have been vocal as a student union leader. I've been vocal as a leader among the doctors. I have been vocal and I am still vocal. I will always speak. I am convinced that a trial will definitely convince this coalition.
All right. Okay, let's go further. In the National Assembly, one yardstick they normally use to measure a representative or a National Assembly member is the number of bills. Is the number of bills he or she has introduced to the National Assembly, especially bills that are of much interest to his or our constituency. What specific policies or bills do you intend to propose that will directly benefit your constituency at the National Assembly?
All right. Thank you very much. We have lots of decadence. There are lots of bills that need to be sponsored. For instance, there are some issues we're having, which I think is nationwide, where some teachers will be teaching, for example, in the education sector now, and they will say they are not being paid. They'll be telling us they are not being paid by the state government. For instance, in Ebonyi State, there was a time the government approved extra 100,000 for all civil servants. And when teachers were celebrating, they told them they are not supposed to be paid, that they are being paid from federal government. The teachers protested. The people, some of them were dealt with because of the protest. So up to now, I'm still convinced where a group of people working in a particular state will be suffering, and another group of people will be enjoying, and they will say this is being paid from this. I did not understand it. These are issues that can be addressed in terms of education. And then who says that university education cannot be free? At least it may not be fully funded, but in our education system, even in primary school and secondary school, they are paying indirectly. Here in Ebonyi State, they will tell you this one is government fee. They will tell you there is not school fees, but this one has to be paid to the government. So what do we call it? They will call it different names. At the end, those in primary school will pay school fees, those in secondary school will pay school fees with a particular name. So then university, sometimes they will say those from so place will pay this, those from so place will pay this. Disparity in a united country. So I think in terms of education, there is a lot of work to do. And then in terms of road network, sometimes many federal roads the state government will abandon it and say it doesn't belong to them. Why is it that the federal government cannot, or the National Assembly cannot mandate the states to handle those roads and present it? Though some governors can do it, but sometimes they do it as a just to try and know whether the federal government can listen to them. Sometimes they are being paid, sometimes they are not being paid. But why is it that there will not be legislation that will mandate them that this road still belongs to your people? It's either they construct the road and come and inform the federal government, or the federal government will scrap whatever is called trunk A roads. Every state can now do their work. So as far as the people living in that constituency will be able to benefit from it, in any way, any of them can serve. The most important thing is that our roads are being, just like the one I told you that passed through from Enugu to Ishelu, and to another place. The road have been abandoned for many years, as far as I'm concerned, for the past 50 or more than 50 years. Nobody, and it's a federal road. Of course, the state government will say they will not do it because it's a federal road. And so there are lots of insecurity. Yes, every voice must be heard. There are many people that are just closing their mouth. They don't know the one they will say, and they will not allow them to come back. That I don't think is bravery. Bravery is when you do what you're supposed to do. The masses that will bring you back will definitely bring you back, instead of being afraid of the powers that be. So in terms, just like the other time, I overheard one of the senators going to make a report in United Nations. Not that I did not understand her problem, but I became angry that why is she going to make such report in the United Nations when she has not reported insecurity in Nigeria? I was even asking myself, oh, so there is an opportunity for somebody to go to United Nations to report what is happening in a particular country. Then why didn't she go when there was in the presence of this insecurity? Why didn't she go in election malpractices? Why didn't she go?
Maybe,
There are lots
maybe
of issues going on.
maybe
And she decided
maybe she didn't believe in the status quo. maybe that's why she did that. So what do you think? What do you think?
there are lots of things I believe my
Yeah,
parents can be done
but
over.
let's really look at this. During bringing investments and government projects to your constituency is one thing that people always love for their representatives to do. We talked about the bad roads, insecurity. How are you going to be able to bring these projects down based on your presence in the National Assembly? I know you're going to have money for constitutional projects and a lot of things, but how are you going to do this? Because we've had a lot of sessions whereby you have representatives everywhere, but there's not really happening in their constituency. How are you going to attract government projects and investment to your constituency in a massive way to really cause a change?
All right, thank you very much. What people don't know is that being in opposition does not really mean, does not stand for enmity. You can be in opposition and you can still attract anything. So the problem we're having in our nation is corruption, selfishness. And what I have always been against is how people define politics. They said it's a game of personal interests. Each time I've been in a WhatsApp group where doctors of all in all the states of this nation belong to, I have always voiced out and said lots of things. Why will somebody say that his interest is personal when you are serving the whole nation? So even in my experience, I've seen one member of National Assembly that just did like, I don't know whether it's up to 500 meters road, just trying to pass through his own apartment, his place where he resides. So I saw it. I felt there is no way this can be a constituency project. It's a personal project, and that is why they said that politics is a game of personal interests, which is wrong, and which I believe through this coalition we're going to change it. And that is why I am known in that WhatsApp group, Doctors Time Out Family. That is what we call it. In that Doctors Time Out Family, I am known as a doctor with national interests. So, and then in my constituency, definitely I will be that person with a constituent interest first, because charity begins at home. So my good relationship with others, irrespective of party affiliation, and I believe with that, whatever is constitutional I will use it judiciously as prescribed. And sometimes a good relationship is enough to attract more. And that will help us to improve where we are not doing well. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Unemployment, poverty, the youth, women, gender equality, these are some of the things of the Nigerian society. How are you going to specifically handle these things in your community? Because these are things I will know are generally in every community. Unemployment.
All right, thank you very much. Unemployment is a very sad problem in our country. And we have seen, even in this period, that employment is not really only when somebody gets appointment letter. In fact, many people over there, they will just come and maybe get like 2 or 3 appointment letters and come back to this constituents and announce it on radio that so people should come and collect appointment letter and they'll be singing for them. But I have seen people doing other jobs, personal, being self-employed. I have seen people that are self-employed that are making more money than those people with those appointment letters. So helping people to become self-employed, you teach them pathway to wealth creation. And sometimes when you help them to acquire the skills, you can also assist them financially. It can even be a constituency project. That is a human capital development. And so for me, I strongly believe that a personal making people to have skills will help them better. Then getting appointment letters for me, I think, is secondary. So in summary, that of unemployment, people can be taught on how to make money. There is money in this country. People that are running about this from this country, many of them are coming back because in Nigeria, when you position yourself very well, there are grounds that are yet to be digged. The money is everywhere, in the air, in the waters, on the land. It's just for teach them how to get the money. Once they know it, they will come and thank you. And with that, the problem of unemployment will be solved.
All right, that's like teaching them how to fish, which is much, much better. You're a member
Yes.
of CODEM, and we believe that CODEM has its principles and aims and objectives. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. How do you plan to uphold and promote the democratic principles that CODEM stands for? In the face of political pressure, how will you remain committed to ethical leadership and good governance and not decamp one day, like most people will say, that most people are just there as a beast fan? And how are you going to handle all this?
All right. Thank you very much. You know, sometimes as a pastor, when I look at things, I look at 2 ways. You may see something going wrong, but when you look at it critically, you can see something good, you can tap out of it. In fact, even from a lion, one came out of it. Sometimes I watch what is happening in River State. I see people, they camping up and down. Some will go back and change and go back. You know, they'll just be moving left and right. But there's something I saw in that state that somebody decided to camp with his master, irrespective of the ups and downs. That even though I may not have liked what he's doing, but I've always watched. This man has suffered and he has always insisted that he will be with his master. As it stands now, my master is CODEM. And I will stand with my master, come rain, come shine, except CODEM says otherwise. So we stand by the principles of CODEM, and we stand because when you say go ye, in the Bible said go ye into the world, it is a mandate. You cannot carry a mandate and go to the field and change the mandate. We have the mandate. Once the mandate is given to us and we know where we are coming from, definitely we are going to stand firm on that mandate. And this issue of the campaign, as I said earlier, I think is very, very common. In fact, the people, it is very common among those people that have been moving from A to Z, Z to A to Z, you know, and anyone that is interested in working, in helping the population, in helping his or her constituents, should look away from those men and women that have been putting this country in chaos. Because I know where we are going as a coalition.
All right. Let's come to your campaign strategy. Your campaign itself. Let's look at what would be your campaign strategy, and how do you plan to engage voters at the grassroots level? Your ground game. What's it going to be like?
Okay, thank you. You know, in our part of the country, in the first place, as I said earlier, as a student, I've been a student leader. I'm very close to my people. We have different meetings where I put down, you know, all the problems of the people and how I can be of help. Besides, by His grace, I am a pastor, and the church where I pastor is so numerous in these states that you cannot go to a local government without seeing at least 1,000 of it. You know, so I believe that when it begins, definitely I may be here and be in another place at the same time, because my word will go before me, my name will go before me, what I stand for, my ministry will go before me. I am not afraid. And besides, I still believe that God will always go before me. So as for the connection to the grassroots, I am well known even beyond the constituency. It's not only there. So I am convinced that when the time reaches, I have what it takes to penetrate into the populace. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question. It's going to also be related to how you look at polity, Nigeria itself. What do you believe are the most critical issues facing Nigeria today? The most critical issues facing Nigeria today, and how would you address them through legislative action? One or two, how will you address them?
Okay, the major problem we're having in Nigeria today is corruption. Corruption is what the Bible calls a little leaven that is leavening the whole lump. If you remove corruption today, the legislation, the judiciary will do the right thing. Remove corruption, the legislature will do the right thing. Remove corruption, the executive will do the right thing. So it's corruption. And when we are saying we have anti-corruption crusade, we have ICPC, we have EFCC, and once in a while you see a chieftain of EFCC being arrested for corruption. You see a chieftain of ICPC being arrested for corruption. What is it telling us? It's telling us a different thing from their vision and mission. So I think there is need for us to reinforce the anti-corruption system. That is the first thing. And to ensure independence of certain independent bodies. Many independents are not really independent. Why? Because of corruption. So the legislation will be on how to kill corruption, but different ideas will come. The moment corruption is killed, somebody said that Nigeria and corruption are like CMS twins. The moment you kill corruption, Nigeria will die. And when you kill Nigeria, corruption will die. But I don't think so. I'm sure many people have been thinking along that side that if you try to remove the corruption, there will no longer be Nigeria. But I think it is not true, because we have countries that if you check the corruption index, they will be at the bottom. Why won't Nigeria be at the bottom? They won't be at the first. Have those countries have died? No, they have not died. They have not been destroyed. So the first and foremost is for us to legislate on how to stop corruption to the barest minimum. With that, I'm sure every other thing will be put on rest, and we'll have a beautiful Nigeria of our dream. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, your corruption has always been the bane of the problems in Nigeria, and if we tackle it, like you said, we would have solved a lot of things. Okay, let me go back to your campaign strategy and your ground game. How was your relationship with and cope them like in your state, because cope them is like a base, and how do you plan to mobilize and unite cope them members too in your constituency for a strong electoral victory? Because we know we have a lot of members there in Ebonyi State. What's the relationship there with cope them Ebonyi, like this executive, and how do you plan to mobilize them for victory too, as a group, as a bloc?
All right. For some time now, we have been having meetings under our leader, our sister Florence. She has been doing well. She's down to earth. She's loved by all. Has always addressed us each time we have our meetings. And with the kind of leaders we have in Ebonyi State COPDEM, I am very, very convinced that they have what it takes to take us to the next level. So my relationship with them is actually cordial, and of course that this can be affirmed by our chairman and the secretary. So, and each time we discuss, we bring out issues that will help us to go actually to the grassroots. So I strongly believe that my good relationship with them will definitely help us drive our lofty dreams to the hinterland. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Before we go, I'll also let me use the opportunity for you to pitch yourself to the electorate. Just like a minute or two, and present yourself to them and say, "Oh, this is me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do." Before I ask the final question, can you just do that, please?
Please come again.
I said I would like to give an opportunity to pitch yourself to the electorate, telling them exactly what you are doing, what you want to do, like endearing yourself to them, like presenting yourself to them for like a minute before I ask the final question.
All right. Thank you very much. I am Dr. Emmanuel Obi, a medical doctor and a pastor. So I have actually lived in the constituents for a long time. I have not left the country for any reason. I have always stood by the side to watch what is happening. And we have seen people that have represented us. They have done their best, but we believe that there is something that is called better when you say something is good. So in doing what they have done, what they can be termed best, we see it as good. But I think there is need for us to have something better. So in our constitution, there is need to change what is obtainable. There is need for us to change the situation. There is need for us to change from what we have now to a better. There are lots of criminalities, insecurity, educational backwardness, bad road. All these will be done not by me, but because of good representation. I strongly believe that in a way you want, for you to assess anyone, the assessment is based on results. When you go to anywhere and come back empty-handed, they will check your pocket. But when you come back with results, people know that you have represented them. So I believe that when the opportunity comes, I'm going to have a better representation that will attract roads, that attract security, and have good connection with, because when going over there, you are meeting people that are not from your country, people outside your state. Your interaction with them will give you idea on how to present what you need. It's not about using local remedies to solve local problems. You can use interstate remedies to solve state problems. I believe so. So it's all about interaction. It's all about having good quality relationship with people that even know better than you, irrespective of what you know. So I know that I'll say something better than this. I know there are lots of things in my head. So when the time comes, I strongly believe that the best can come out of it. Thank you very much, sir.
Definitely, sir. Yeah, on a final note, if you are elected, what legacy do you hope to leave behind after your tenure in the House of Representatives to continue to reverberate over time? What legacy?
All right, going there is nothing else if not for quality representation. And when I said earlier that there's what we call evaluation. You know, as a doctor, evaluation is actually at the end of everything, look at what you look at it, check how many years, the input, your time, the analysis, how are you coming out of it? So in quality representation, it will attract basic amenities. Representation, only sitting down, opening your mouth, representing the people is enough to attract good growth. It is enough to attract schools. It is enough to attract free education. It is enough to attract free medical care. It is enough that whatever is true, you can say you just go with your leg, talk with your mouth, and if you need for to do what you are going to do, a good international relationship relating with us is enough to attract things. So what I can promise is good representation. Representation is like a pregnant woman. When you promise somebody a pregnant woman at 7 can give birth to 5 or even 2 or even 1. So good presentation is like a pregnant woman, a pregnant baby. And so when I say good one, that means that pregnant woman can give birth to pregnancies and beautiful ones. And that is what I'm looking at. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for joining this program. Coming to the end of the program. You guys, we've been talking to Dr. Obi Emmanuel Ifeanyichukwu. He's also an aspirant who's running for his seat in the Federal House of Representatives from under EZA. Can you hear me now? Okay, so we've been talking to Dr. Obi Emmanuel Ifeanyichukwu. I believe you can hear me. Thank you for joining this program, sir. Dr. Obi Emmanuel is contesting for House of Representatives in the EZA North Ishielu constituency. And we want to thank you for joining us, sir. And we hope that in some subsequent future media events, you also be obliged to also join us. I want to thank you for joining this. We hope to also hear from you some more time. Viewers, we hope to see you tomorrow in another program. And for me here, it's goodbye and God bless. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Thank you.